The words slid out of her mouth like a knife catching the light. You'll be in the trunk. At first, I thought she was joking. The way she laughed softly after saying it, how her fingers tapped on the steering wheel. Her eyes locked forward as though she was already on that drive. But it didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a line rehearsed. A plan. I stared at her in silence, waiting for the grin to spread wider, for her to glance at me with that mischievous smirk she used to wear when teasing. It never came. She just kept driving, her lips tight, her gaze fixed. The air in the car thickened. Excuse me? I finally asked, though my throat was dry. Her voice was calm, almost detached. I said I'll drive. And you'll be in the trunk. That was the first time I truly noticed it, the absence. The warmth that used to live in her tone was gone. I felt my chest tighten as if something precious had been ripped out of the air between us. We'd been married for 10 years. A decade of shared dinners, late-night whispers, laughter echoing across rooms we called our home. We'd built a life, one brick at a time. Or so I thought. Lately, though, things had shifted. Her phone was always face down. Calls taken in the bathroom with the water running. That sudden coldness in bed. Her body turned away from me. Breath shallow as though sleep were an act she forced just to avoid conversation. I told myself it was stress, maybe exhaustion. She'd been working longer hours. I didn't want to seem paranoid. I ignored the shadows, convincing myself they were tricks of the light. But sitting in that passenger seat, listening to her talk about trunks like I was cargo, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I forced a laugh, weak and hollow. You're joking, right? Her hands tightened around the wheel. The dashboard lights painted her face in a pale glow, and for a moment, she looked like a stranger. No, she said quietly. Not joking. That was when my chest went cold. I looked out the window, watching the blur of streetlights flicker past. My reflection in the glass stared back at me, wide-eyed and stiff, like I was trapped in someone else's nightmare. Finally, I said, then you'd better drive alone. Have a good trip. I pulled the door handle and stepped out before she could answer. The sound of the door slamming behind me echoed like a final sentence. I stood on the side of the road, the night pressing against me, her taillights glowing red in the distance as she slowed, hesitated, and then kept going. She didn't come back. That should have been the end, but of course it wasn't. Betrayal doesn't reveal itself in one clean moment. It unravels slowly, thread by thread, until you're standing in the ruins, wondering how you missed the collapse. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. She was in the kitchen making coffee, humming softly. Sleep well? She asked, sliding my mug across the counter. I stared at her. That same woman who'd told me, with unsettling calmness, that I belonged in the trunk of her car. Why did you say that last night? I asked. She blinked, feigning confusion. Say what? Her performance was flawless. Too flawless. My stomach twisted. Over the next week, I started noticing more. The smell of cologne on her clothes that wasn't mine. The way she clutched her phone like a lifeline, fingers shaking slightly when she typed. The sudden bursts of energy when she said she was going out to clear her head. I followed her one evening. She thought she was clever, taking side streets, doubling back, but she wasn't expecting me to trail far enough behind. She pulled into the parking lot of a cheap motel. My chest hollowed out as I watched her step out of the car and run her hands through her hair before heading inside. She didn't hesitate. She'd done this before. I sat in my car for hours, watching the door, waiting for her to reappear. When she finally did, she wasn't alone. A man walked out beside her, tall, confident, his hand brushing hers like it belonged there. My world didn't shatter all at once. It cracked slowly, each heartbeat pounding against the cracks until I was nothing but broken pieces. That night, I confronted her. She didn't deny it. Didn't even try. She just sat there on the couch, staring at me with that same hollow calmness she'd shown in the car. I needed more, she said. You stopped being enough. The words gutted me. All those years, all the promises, reduced to a single brutal sentence. I wanted to scream, to break something, to make her feel the pain clawing at my chest. But all I could do was whisper. And the trunk? What was that about? Her eyes flicked away, shame. Or maybe just discomfort, passing through them. It was something he said. A joke we shared. I guess it slipped out. A joke. Between them. About me. That was when I realized how deep it went. Not just the betrayal of her body, but of her laughter, her secrets, her private world. Everything that once belonged to us now belonged to him. The next day she packed a bag. I think it's better if I stay somewhere else for a while, she said, as though she were talking about a vacation, not dismantling our life together. I didn't stop her. I didn't beg. I just watched as she carried her suitcase to the door, her silhouette framed against the morning light like a ghost leaving the house. When the door shut, the silence was suffocating. Sometimes late at night, I replay that moment in the car. Her voice calm and sharp, telling me I belonged in the trunk. I used to think betrayal felt like fire, rage, heat, destruction. But it doesn't. It feels like ice. Cold, creeping, paralyzing. It numbs you until you can't even tell where the pain ends and the emptiness begins. I don't know if she's happy now, wherever she is, with whoever he is. I don't know if she thinks of me at all. But I know this. That night on the side of the road, when I told her to have a good trip and stepped out of the car, I was stepping out of more than just her passenger seat. I was stepping out of the life I thought we had. And there's no going back.